Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Hogan, and welcome back to my Zero Carb Life. Today, I have Victoria Hunt with me, and Victoria said, Kelly, I have a carnivore story, and I'm willing to share it. And that is about what I know right there. So, what brought you to carnivore? What's your story?
I had a really long health journey. I had a severe closed head injury from a car wreck in 1991. I ended up with fibromyalgia and I had severe headaches and pain, back, neck, knee. I had trouble walking. It was so bad, I got a lift chair on my 39th birthday. It was awful. My diet basically at that time was, I made homemade bread and I made homemade pasta and I loved starchy vegetables. And I didn't eat any meat, or very, very, very little if I did. So in 1991, that's when my joint pain got really bad. I weighed over 200 pounds. And then I started focusing in 2000. I said, look, this isn't me. I got on my knees and I said, Lord, either fix me or take me. It was bad. The pain was awful. So long story short, I focus on, well, at that time it was gluten,
Yeah.
So I cut the gluten out, which changed a whole lot about my health to begin with. I was pre-diabetic. I couldn't lose the weight. But what I did was I was under eater. I would not eat very much. So that's been going on for 20 years, 30 years.
So, at the time, even when you cut out the gluten, the weight didn't just fall off. No.
But it did not fall off. But I hurt. I remember waking up when I was in my 50s, early 60s. And I said, look, is this what I'm supposed to have for the rest of my life? Am I supposed to wake up in pain every morning? Well, COVID happened.
Yeah.
And we were home, and my husband was getting to the point where he was going to have to go on insulin. That his blood sugar was getting really bad. So in 2022, he bet his friend that he could lose all this weight. Well, I'm just sitting here in the background. And in the back of my mind, I knew that blood sugar levels had to have something to do with his cardiac problems and everything. So it was bad. So we found a doctor in Florida, Dr. Gymnatis, who actually worked with diabetics and in the cardiac realm. So we went down there. Doug ends up having a stent. So we get really serious about the blood sugar stuff.
Yeah.
Because he almost died. We went and we found Dr. Boz.
Oh.
We went to Tampa and we got to go to her Pentasters meeting.
Oh, you hit jackpot right off the bat.
No, he does that.
Better said. Yes.
God did that.
Yes.
Doug took the 21-day class with Dr. Boz, and he took it 3 times, actually.
Wow.
But I kind of mirrored it. And, the sardine thing was a whole other ballpark. But you know what? When you're sick enough, you'll do anything.
Yes.
So I lost 70 pounds, but I got too thin. My problem was I didn't know I was an undereater.
I see.
Had no idea, because everybody says, don't look at the calories.
Well, it's a measure of heat, Victoria. It has nothing to do with your body. And so we tell folks, don't track. You don't need to track. And then?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was tracking. I just wasn't looking at the calories at all.
See.
I got down to 116.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7.5".
Oh, that's thin. Yeah.
So that I was in the underweight category.
Yes.
My BMI was horrid. What I did was I said, look, I have to find somebody that is thin, maintaining, and healthy, and willing to share what they're doing.
Yeah.
I found you, Kelly.
Oh, well, lucky me.
Because
awesome.
I'm not going to follow somebody who is not living it.
Right.
You can't do that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I found you, signed up for your classes. I started your classes in June. I just put you in my ear and I kept listening, and you said carnivore. So I said, okay. So I just went straight carnivore. And you said that some people will undereat. And then you started talking about symptoms. Well, the lizard brain you talk about?
Yes.
He loved me. He was
Mm.
after me. And I keep thinking about the cats. If you feed them, you
Cravings
got
are
them.
like stray cats. If you keep feeding them, they will never go away. Yeah, I didn't come up with
Exactly.
that, but I love it.
Well, I had cats. I had lizards. I had everything. Um, and I just couldn't get rid of them. So
Yes.
you said to eat as much meat, keep the meat in the refrigerator. So, and I had never heard about eating cold burger patties.
Meat cookies.
Oh my gosh, I love them.
Yes.
So meat cookies. I even got my grandson to eat them. It was crazy. So I started keeping hamburger and keeping it in my refrigerator.
Yep.
So I just ate, and my husband would say, "Boy, you're eating a lot," and I'm like, "I don't care,"
Yes.
and I just kept eating. So that was like 7 months that it took me, and I went from 116 up to 131, 132, somewhere in there.
I've been jotting down a few questions. When you were losing weight, the 70 pounds, were you eating mostly meat with some vegetables? What was your diet like at that point?
Well, my carbs were right at 20 or more.
Okay.
Okay. So I was trying really hard,
Yeah.
but those voices would come in and I would grab something, not something bad, but keto stuff,
Yes.
you know.
So the cravings were
So
still there.
the cravings, it was awful.
Okay.
And so when I was eating, it was more like maybe not actually eating a meal because I was trying only to do like 2 meals a day,
Okay.
not eating until after 11, 12, 1, somewhere in
Okay.
that, not starting eating. But then, I was so hungry in the evening.
Yeah.
It just didn't balance.
Right. Okay. So at that point, you're dealing with the cravings. How was your pain during that time? Did it help a lot with the pain?
Yes. I mean, the
Okay.
joint
Good.
pain was better. A lot of stuff was better.
Yeah. I,
But I would have swelling in my legs,
oh,
like my ankles. You could see, like my socks would have rings.
okay. All right. So for weight loss, I think this is
Inflammation.
a great thing to bring up. I lost a lot of weight keeping my carbs at 20 or below. I think for weight loss alone, if that's all somebody is trying to do, then having carbs 20 or below, my word, what if every person in America did that? It'd be amazing how the obesity epidemic would reverse, right? It's a great place to start. But then you fell into the trap that so many of us do, which is we're just not eating enough. And you can be eating the most beautiful keto or carnivore low carb diet, but if you're under eating, it's you're just not going to have that energy and vitality. The cravings are going to be there, especially I'm guessing there was still some sweet taste involved back
Oh
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
chocolate.
Well, that'll do it, right? That'll
Mhm.
do it. Okay. But you were also way on the right track by working with Dr. Boz and at least getting the carbs way down. That's awesome. But for an undereater to then implement intermittent fasting, it's like, oh, well, I can't eat till around noon. Oh, you weren't eating enough to start with. You were an undereater before you ever even started low carb. And
Yes.
this is also something I wanted to bring up for any of you watching. If you go online and listen to all the bros and people in the comments that will say, if you're overweight, you are eating too much, that is not always the case. It is sometimes the case. I think we can all agree. Sometimes that might be the case. Victoria was not eating enough, and it causes metabolism to slow. It causes your body to not be able to handle. When I say, some people say your metabolism doesn't slow. Okay, well, what I mean by that is your body was trained to subside on a certain amount, whether it was 1,200 or 800, whatever it was. And your body will adjust to that deficit if you stay there long enough. and you stayed until then, you're 180 pounds eating very little food. Okay, well, they would say it's impossible to eat more and lose weight. What are your thoughts on that, Victoria?
Oh, no. Until I got fed, I had to get my nutrition into my body. And if I don't have nutrition, there's no way that I can subside cravings
Yes.
because your body needs stuff.
Your body needs stuff, and until it gets it, nothing is going to function well. You can be on a beautiful diet as far as what you're eating, but not getting enough of what your body needs because it's just too little of it. Was it scary for you to go through some of that weight gain, or were you aware enough of like, I really need it?
Not scary. How about concerning?
Okay.
Because I didn't know when I would get to the point where I would stop
Yeah.
eating that much. Okay, I'm turning 70 in 2 weeks.
Happy almost birthday.
So 70 is, I mean, they look at you and they say, oh my gosh, you've got to watch. You're going to waste away. You don't have muscle. You don't have
Yes.
the strength. I'll tell you what, last time I went to the gym, I lifted 20 pounds more on all of the machines.
Awesome.
And actually, it was 40 pounds more on some of the leg ones than I ever had in my whole life.
Wow.
So, I'm a pretty strong old lady. That's what I kind of get told by my husband when he wants something moved. But
That's so cool. Doesn't it feel good to be able to say that? I'm so proud of
yeah,
you.
it was one of my habit tracker things is
Yeah.
to be a strong old lady. Well, can I say this about your habit tracker?
Oh, yeah.
I love it because it doesn't just say what you're going to do, it says why you're going to do it.
Yes.
And if you don't fill that out, it's your fault.
You're missing a big piece of it. Who does things that they don't even know why we're doing it? Yeah, really understanding. So for you, what was the actual commitment?
That I was going to go to the gym
Go to the gym.
because, if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's it. If you,
And it's your choice.
yeah, choice is a big part of it. We can
Yeah.
all choose to eat whatever we want, to choose to enjoy this mouth pleasure today. That's a choice. But if you know good and well it's given you all the problems that you had, then we can choose to say, well, you know what? I think I'm going to eat my meat today and choose to feel good. It's all a choice. Victoria and I aren't here to tell you what to do, but we are giving you some options if you're hurting of what might be the reason. If you're having constant food noise and cravings, if you're losing muscle, there's a choice involved. Eat enough and use those muscles. That's the recipe. If you want to build or keep muscle, eat enough and use your muscles.
Well, carnivore's been just super easy because you don't have to think about it really.
Right.
You eat the meat, as you say, eat the meat. The biggest thing for me after I got rid of the snacking was the fact that I stopped eating by like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Okay.
It's the latest I eat. And if I stop, my numbers are good. My blood sugar's good. I mean, I don't want to be diabetic. I've been pre-diabetic. I've been where I had the dizzies and the tireds and I had to go to bed, and I don't want to be there. I have 6 kids. I have 13 grandkids.
Oh,
I have fun. I mean, my life is full of joy, and the biggest thing is hope. And I think people forget that's if you have hope. Your video about your little mice
oh yes, that study.
touched my heart because I looked. Okay, so I did the Chat GTP thing,
Yes.
and I have a picture of me on my birthday in a lift chair,
Oh,
200 pounds. I have that picture. And I looked at that picture and then I saw what Chat GPT said I would be, and just brought it forward to if I was sick or if I wasn't, if I was carnivore or if I was American diet, if I didn't work out, if I did work out. Those were my parameters. And oh my gosh, I said, what is the difference between this lady and this lady? And you know what it really came down to was that savior part, that hope, that those little mice, if they had hope, if they had hope of being saved, they were, what'd they say? It was a lot.
Okay, so for those who haven't heard this story, I'll give you the really short version. It's something that we studied in class, but there was a study where they took rats or mice and they put them in water, and within about 15 minutes, a rat will start to sink and start to drown. And when they went under the water to drown at around the 15-minute mark, the researchers would yank them out. And then they gave them a brief rest. They put them back in, and then they lasted 60 hours. So we're talking a couple of days, 2.5 days or so, that these rats were then able to go. And they said, what would be the difference? Well, the first time there was no hope. There's no way to get out of this thing. I saw the container. But once they were pulled out, then yes, there's hope that just hang in a little longer because help is here. Help is here. There is hope. When I meet somebody and they truly are, they feel that they are hopeless. They have determined nothing can be done. This is the sickness. Like you said before, I felt like, is this it? I'm just going to hurt forever. I'm just going to be stuck in using a lift chair forever. That is a hard place to get people out of. And it's partly why I invite people like you, Victoria, to say, I was 39 and using a lift chair over 200 pounds and felt like there's no hope. But hearing stories, if you today feel like you are hopeless, I'm here to tell you, you are not. You are not. There are so many things that Victoria has already mentioned that can help move the needle in the right direction. So I'm glad that hit home with you as well. That study I thought was really inspiring.
It was amazing because when I looked at myself and I said, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was hope. It was that I could take action. Even though I was sick, I couldn't really walk. I was in a lot of pain. I could put one foot in front of the other. I knew that I would find the answer somewhere.
Somebody in our group the other day said, I just woke up. She was in tears, but they were tears of joy now. I have seen her on screen in the past sharing with us in the group tears of absolute desperation. And she said, I just started asking myself, what is one little thing I can do today that will make tomorrow a little better? I thought, oh, isn't that good? Just that, what is that little step today that we can do? And she started doing these small, she was in a very similar position weight-wise, but also mobility, very little mobility. But again, she did some of the things that you have mentioned. Let's do just a recap and then think of other things that we could add. Okay, you cut out carbs. First down to 20 grams, and now total carnivore. So for those that don't know, we're eating only animal products. Do you eat mostly beef?
I love my hamburger. I love it. Yeah, I will eat other beefs, but not like I do hamburger.
Okay, so she's eating mostly burger patties. Woohoo! I love that plan. Stops eating at around 5 o'clock. That you have found helpful for blood sugar and ketones. I am almost always eating my last meal at 5:30 myself. I think it helps with sleep and digestion. Plus, I like to take a walk after my last meal. You lift weights at least twice per week. Is that right? What you're doing? Yep, me too. Okay. Hey, I have a question. We can come back and add to this list of things that you would suggest trying. But when your weight was going up because you needed to add some healthy lean mass, you needed to nourish your body. When you started refeeding, was it easy to get in enough calories, or did you have to kind of push to make yourself eat it?
What I did was I needed to add the fat because, see, I wasn't eating enough fat.
Okay.
So Yeah, I added the beef and the fat.
Nice. Okay, so you started to see the scale go up, and there was a little bit of concern that I've lost weight too. When the scale goes up, even if you know it needs to, it's sort of a panic because you don't want to go back where you were, but you saw it going up and then it stabilized.
Yeah, I got up to about 130.
Okay.
I was doing a lot of walking and I was doing bike riding and I was getting out, being outside.
Nice.
Um, so I knew that when I was staying I got it to where I could stay at that level.
Of
Um,
130-ish.
130ish,
Gotcha.
131, yeah, right
Yeah.
in there. And I was feeling good. And I watched your videos again saying, how you had gained weight and then you had dropped back down.
Yep.
I was eating meat. I was just eating lots of meat and lots of fat. But what I did was I started closing my eating window a little bit.
Okay.
So I would eat early in the morning. When I got up, I was like eating like at 8. And then I squeezed that window, that night window, I moved it forward. So because at that time I was eating at like 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay.
So I moved it back, and I finally got it back to like 4 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
So, but when I squeezed that eating window, I would lose a little weight. I
Yeah.
mean, I came down to 129. I started adding a can of sardines every day or fish every day
Okay.
because I keep hearing when you're old, you need the
Yes.
omega 3s,
Yes.
and you need the good calcium and the protein and fat balance.
Yeah.
So I added the sardines every day, and then I did like the sardine challenge, which I did last week. I got down to 126. I've been staying at 126.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, so we do have some real similarities here. You and I both lost a lot of weight by dropping carbs down to around 20 or below. And
Mhm.
then for me, I started to realize, but I feel better on the days when I have below, when it's mostly just meat. But even then, I fell back. This was like 16 to 20 years ago. This has been quite a while. And I realized I don't feel as good some days. And I didn't look as strong. And I started looking a little like dark circles under my eyes. And that's when I found some real carnivores who helped me because I was doing it on my own and I didn't realize, oh, well, yeah, good job cutting out the carbs. You're also not eating enough fat and you're not eating enough overall. And so, like you, when I started, I was like, okay, well, then let's do this. All meat, meat fest every day. I did gain weight. I gained 23 pounds over the course of 6 months. And I mean, that's a slow creep. It wasn't all overnight. And it wasn't all really bad weight for people who have said, well, it was probably muscle. It was not. I had just a little muffin top going on. I wasn't happy about it, but it didn't really look like a full 23 pounds. It was like, well, I can tell I've gained some though. And I was like you, the word is concerned. Is this going to stop? But the carnivores, Charles Washington and Dana Spencer, and a lot of those, what we call now like the OGs, they kept saying, you are not going to end up back where you were. You're going to be nourished, like you said. You will be nourished. You won't stay ravenous forever, but you really need to eat enough. Keep going. And I did. And around the 6 month mark, I just found that I wasn't tracking calories either. I just knew I wasn't eating as much because I wasn't starving all day. My body kind of felt like it just went, okay. And then I did. I dropped not back to I didn't look thin and sickly. I just dropped a little bit. And since then, I've been able to maintain quite nicely.
It's not that you don't still need to be aware of what you're doing. I will track like for 3 or 4 days, and
Oh,
then
good.
I'm not.
Yeah.
But because I kind of eat a lot the same, like you do. I
Yes.
mean, you know what you like, you know about how much meat you, but that's only after you've been there. You got to be there a while before you can trust in that. I did 1,900 calories yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's spot on, but I go a lot by how I feel.
Right. Once you've experienced what it feels like to be nourished, to be satisfied, to have good energy and good sleep, for your body temperature to come back up. Victoria, my body temperature prior to really doing carnivore, when I was under eating and keeping my carbs at 20 or below, the joke at my house was I was like the radio station and we listened to 95.7. And when I would check my body temp, it was almost exactly always 95.7. Yes, I was cold. I I didn't have good energy. I didn't feel as vibrant and happy. And how could you? I was starving, kind of unintentionally. And it was just like, well, I'm not hungry. And I see it so often, these same symptoms over and over. The dry skin, poor sleep, no libido, hair breaks real easy, thin nails. It's like, yeah, have you ever tracked? And people will say, I was told you don't have to track because calories aren't real. It's like, okay, we can debate that later. How much are you eating?
I also thought a really big thing was when you said that we needed to do 3 meals a day. Because I was just kind of bouncing around.
Yeah.
Um, and I was trying to do two for a long time. But I think making it okay to eat 3 meals, but that's 3 meals. If you actually eat 3 meals of meat
Yep.
and you eat the right amount of fat, you can't eat anything in the evening. I
Yeah.
mean, it just won't let you.
Right. I think for anybody with a history of binge eating, 3 meals per day is perfect. For people who have been former restrictors and undereaters, 3 meals a day. I just find that especially women, especially as women get older, myself included, 2 meals a day used to be fine. 3 meals per day, I've just watched hundreds of people and it does seem to work better. I think men get away better with 1 to 2 meals. That I think they do fine. It does not tend to impact their testosterone. They can do okay. But I love that you're eating a breakfast now, that you've bumped your eating window earlier. I love that you found, okay, well, I'll just stop eating earlier in the evening still. You still have a window. It's just you're kicking the day off by letting your body know we are not in a famine. Look at this, body, we have food. Yeah.
Um, I was really surprised at the safety aspect mentally
Yeah.
about being safe, how important that was surrounding either gaining or losing weight, but being nourished. So much of what I was doing, thinking it was good, was actually something that was telling me that I wasn't safe.
Oh, I love that you brought this up. We talked about this in class this week, right? So, if somebody has either been through, you've been through it, whether it's trauma or just really a lot of stresses, and your body is stuck, your nervous system is sort of just stuck in urgency, panic, survival. That is not the place where our body tends to go, okay, well, let's add some muscle and let's lose this body fat and heal from the inside out. Like that fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode of our nervous system, the sympathetic side, is really just interested in just don't die. That's all we care about. And we talked this week about how when we're cleaning things, like everything's in a panic. When we do motions around the house, when we're cooking dinner and everything's panic. We do it so fast, so hurried, everything feels like an emergency situation. Then on top of that, we're dehydrated, we're undernourished, we're staying up late, staring at screens, like every bit of that. Oh, and then not feeling that we can ever be authentic. We try to really say in the groups, look, when you come and talk to us, we don't know anybody that you know. We don't know your kids, your mama, your neighbor, or your dog. You can be real with us. And being able to drop the mask and just be you send safety also, instead of all the time thinking like don't let them see who you really are. All of this together that safety signaling. And you mentioned going outdoors and just moving outside with sunlight, noticing things, taking note of a bird or a butterfly or something outside. It's all so lovely for us.
I I helped my mother-in-law get into a retirement home.
Hmm.
This was many years ago. And I remember going up to the door and I'm like running and I get up to the door and I have to wait for this door to open. And it was going really slow.
Yes.
And then I had to then I get inside and everything is slow. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I could feel my heart racing
So the
because it
whole
was like,
world felt slow because you were so in a tizzy.
oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
plus, I mean, think about it. They have time, they sit down and eat. They have time, they play cards. They have time, they walk. They have time, they talk to each other.
Oh,
I mean, it was just it like really knocked me over that my life is going zoom by
yeah.
and I don't even know it.
Mm,
And it took these people going to a nursing
yeah.
to be in a place where they're safe and slow and kind. I mean, it was just,
Right. Like maybe we could bring a little of that home and not wait for the home for that to happen. Our assistant coach in the group, Nanette, I know we all love you, Nanette. We love you, Nanette. Um, she is so good to remind us, slow down. You need a little peace. And I think part of that is in her home, where she's a full-time caregiver to her adult daughter. There are many times where she must be, probably all of the times, quite patient. She says when we get in a hurry, her daughter feels that and reacts. You can just almost see her daughter's nervous system react to hurry and rush. Go, let's go. She says, nope, that is counterproductive in my house. We take things slow, we speak kindly. And she said, when we go slow, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I think she said that's like a military phrase. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast because it gets done correctly. And but when it comes to just our health too, what a great thing to remind people of. Okay, I'm going to jot that one down too. We've got a lot of things I'm going to review here at the end. Is there anything else you would say to someone who might be in a place of, I don't think this weight will ever come off. I hurt too much. I can't run marathons. I can't do, they just feel hopeless. Any other little tips or thoughts for them?
if you think you can't, you can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to change how you think. Also, what are you putting your hope in? What are you putting your trust in?
Mm,
I mean, I got on my knees.
yes.
You have to surrender somewhere.
Right. I like that. Okay. Let's go do a little review, my friend Victoria. Food is a big foundation. If you're eating junk, you're going to feel like trash. We are not trash cans. Get it out of the house. Let's get some real food. For me and you, it's all the animal products. Meat, I can eat eggs, I can have some dairy. So let's all go carnivore. Make that step one.
Yeah.
Uh, then for you, stop eating earlier in the day has been helpful. And that's easy for you to do because you start eating earlier in the day and you get in 3 meals per day. You added more fat. That was key for me too. If you're just eating lean chicken breast and you are expecting to ever feel satisfied or to get all of the vitamins, nutrients, and minerals that we need from just lean meat, these things are fat soluble. We're going to need some fat. And for me, I eat a lot of fat. Okay. You added fish. I like the sound of that. I think having fish, you have it every day, but even a couple of times per week for those omega-3s is great. Talked about slowing down, bringing a little peace into our life. The idea of let's ask for some help. Let's surrender, get some help. Also, in addition to surrender, surround. You and I have both made sure that we are not doing this alone. If you want to become different than the situation you're in, it helps to surround yourself with those people. don't you think?
Amen.
We get to see one another in a screen full of people who are living this way. It becomes a no-brainer.
Well, not only that, if you have something that fears you, any of fears, anything like that, you've got your Facebook group. It's amazing. All you got to do is say, help me. And you got 50 people writing you.
Yes. And aren't they the kindest people?
And they all say they love you. I mean,
Yeah.
they all really, I think they honestly care about you.
Yes. It is. I have said many times, I think it is the most loving and helpful and kind corner of the internet. It's just the nicest people. Okay, you mentioned going outside. You did walking. You do weightlifting. Oh, and we talked about reverse dieting, and be prepared that you really might put on some weight in the process of fixing this under eating problem, which can only be solved by eating enough. I know I just said this in our groups this week, so sorry to repeat it, Victoria, but there's no other fix for chronic under eating. I know people who have had gastric bypass, people who have gone on GLPs. They don't lose anything because the problem wasn't that they were overeating. And those two things, the surgeries or the GLPs, appetite suppressants, whatever it is you're doing, if the purpose is to suppress the appetite, it will not work on a chronic undereater. So you and I, we just had to fix it. And we both put on a little weight. It stabilized. Our appetite also regulated. And then weight dropped back down to where now we can quite easily just stay at a healthy weight. Victoria, I have loved this conversation. I knew I loved you, but this was good. I think there are so many little nuggets of truth. If anybody listening wants to maybe implement even one or two of these, don't get overwhelmed and go, oh my gosh, well, I can't do all that. Don't. Start with maybe a good big carnivore breakfast every day. If you're eating carbs 3 times per day, a big carnivore breakfast every morning is a great place to start. And if that feels good, maybe start doing breakfast and lunch. And maybe you say, oh, well, I'm eating till 11 o'clock. Maybe for you, the easiest thing would be, well, I'm just going to bump that back to 8. We don't have to do everything at once. Remember what that lady said? What is one thing I can do today that will make tomorrow a little better? And Victoria, you have done many things to make your tomorrows much better. I'm so proud of you and happy for you.
Thank you, Kelly.
And thank you for coming here to share. I'm grateful. I know it's not an easy thing to put your life and yourself on camera for everyone. So for those of you watching, please say hi to Victoria in the comments below. She would love to hear from you. If anything was helpful, please let us know what you thought about what we had to say. If you would like some support to surround yourself with people like Victoria, myself, and other folks who are just genuinely wanting to help, the link is below. We would love to see you there. Thank you, Victoria. I'll see you next time. See you on Wednesday.
Oh, yes. God bless, Kelly.
Oh, bye.